Today, I'm going to tell 3 strange but true stories. But before we get into those stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, please steal the like button's phone and completely rearrange the location of all their apps. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's stories. Music. On the afternoon of September 27, 1956, a 13-year-old boy named Neri Morgan was walking with his 2 younger brothers through a desert in South Australia called Maralinga. Neri and his brothers were members of an isolated Aboriginal tribe called the Mardu, and they were out right now to hunt kangaroos for their family. So Neri had a spear and his 2 younger brothers had a club, and they also had a boomerang. And for a while they had been tracking this particular group of kangaroos. But every time they slowed down, and the brothers got ready to strike, the kangaroos would take off, and it was very frustrating. But eventually, as they were walking, this group of kangaroos stopped at a watering hole which was just a few dozen yards away from them. And so at that point, the brothers knew this was their chance. These kangaroos were going to stay here long enough that they could strike. And so Neri signaled to his brothers that it was time to move. And so they got down in the brush and began advancing on the kangaroos. But after only taking a few steps, they heard this loud rumbling sound off in the distance. And as they looked to see what was going on, the sky suddenly was illuminated impossibly bright to the point where Neri is shielding his eyes to just see what's going on here. And as he was doing this extremely hot gust of wind came blasting through and literally knocked the brothers onto the ground, totally disorienting them. And then from the ground, at some point, Neri kind of turns his head, and he happens to look in the direction of the watering hole where the kangaroos were. Then he sees them literally floating in the air, coming right over to him, and then dropping on the ground. And then a moment later, it was like everything just went back to normal. The sky went back to a normal color. There was no more rumbling. There was no more wind. Except now you have all these kangaroos just dead right in front of Enner and his brothers. Now, of course, Neri and his brothers had a lot to process here. I mean, they really had no idea what had happened. But they're looking at this bounty right in front of them. All these kangaroos, and they're thinking, what's just happened here was a gift from God. Clearly, what we just experienced was literally God lifting these kangaroos up, ending their lives, and putting them at our feet. This was a gift. And so, eventually, Neri and his brothers, after kind of